I traded my 2009 auction Escalade for this subscriber's 2007 GMC Sierra Classic. Was it a worthwhile trade? I don't know. Let's go on, get it down to the garage. There's a lot to do, a lot to demod, a lot to mod, a lot to repair, and you can tell me what you guys think. I will say this, pretty impressive. Check it out. Solid rockers. Oh yeah, that alone, that just makes it totally worth it, right? Now this baby has 208,000 miles. Check engine light. It's got oil pressure. Everything looks pretty good. And it does actually have a an aftermarket head unit, which is nice. So I don't got to touch that. Interior is pretty clean, but you know, I'll give you guys the full tour later on. We do have some stuff we need to tackle. Headliner needs to be done. Seat heaters don't work. Driver's seat's a little bit torn up. Not terrible, but it's got to come off to fix the seat heater. And yeah, we got to take care of that check engine light. But luckily, it's just a code for a small evap leak. Now, you probably do have a lot of questions, and I'll get to them kind of as the video progresses and we start repairing this girl. The 4x4 does in fact work. I shouldn't really need it right now, though. And honestly, the main reason for me getting rid of the Escalade was because I didn't need it. I had my Tahoe. Still have my Tahoe. I love my Tahoe. And working on, you know, projects to come, that Barracuda that I am working on at the moment, it came down to me basically having to put like crusty spiderweb covered, disgusting wheels for the Barracuda in the back of the Escalade. And at that point, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I just need a truck. And the Escalade was worth more than the Tahoe, and honestly, I prefer the GMC 800 platform anyway. So, yeah, the Escalade kind of got the short end of the stick, was traded off, and now I have this girl. Now, it is not without its issues. The suspension is absolutely terrible. The torsion bars are cranked to the limit. It's got 2-inch blocks in the back. The tires rub on everything when you go full lock. It's bouncy. Like, I hate the way it rides. And, quite frankly, it's terrifying. So I put a posting up on Facebook Marketplace trying to find some, you know, just stock Chevy or GMC wheels to try to trade these for. And a guy has GMT 900 Silverado wheels. It's just like that basic kind of polished 5-spoke 20-inch wheel. With some pretty decent tires on them. So he's supposed to be coming by. Hopefully these fit his truck. I think he said he has like a 3.5-inch lift. So it might just be an even swap. And then I'll be able to kind of demod this thing, crank down the torsion bars, and we take those blocks out of the back.
Or you just get smaller tires eventually.
Oh yeah, that too, eventually. I mean, it's the same size wheel. I mean, tires are cheaper than wheels and tires.
Exactly. My choice is either take off the spacer. It's probably the smartest thing to do. Yeah, it looks good, man.
Okay. I'm gonna get they have black like GMC semi-caps too.
Yeah.
Swapping out.
Okay.
All right, so the wheels are swapped out, and these are supposed to be just kind of placeholder wheels, just, you know, a stock size, so I can actually bring the thing back down to stock height so nothing's rubbing and fix the suspension. But I gotta say, I'm actually liking the way they look on this truck. That's weird. this ball joint fixed itself. Huh. So I have some new control arms. I'm gonna pop in new upper control arms. I got some new, just cheapy, regular length shocks. I'm pretty sure these shocks are absolutely blown out anyway. Actually, I probably can't shake the ball joint because it's all the weight's hanging on it. Let's get the jack under the layer and see what it does. Yeah, there it is. God. Jeez. Yeah, that ball joint's absolutely screwed. God. Oh, man. God. Why does that feel so absolutely effed? I'm pretty sure that bolt's like completely seized inside that control arm bushing. Yeah. The bushing's moving with the bolt. Oh, this one's free. A small victory, but I'll take it. Yeah, the shock's not long enough, so I gotta decrank a little bit now. You guys see me do this. You guys have seen me do this on my Tahoe, so it's the same thing. 18mm nut or 18mm bolt. We're just gonna crank them clockwise, counterclockwise. I don't know how much, so I'm just gonna go a bunch of turns and then do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no. This thing has torsion keys in it. So for the sake of getting this back together, I gotta hope that that was enough. Yeah, I think that'll work. But I'm gonna have to get friggin' stock replacement torsion keys, because this thing's still gonna be way too high. A little fun fact on the trucks, at least on the 1500s, the part number is the same for left and right in the front, but on the SUVs, they're different because there's like kind of like an offset to it. On the trucks here, the ball joint is right in the middle, where on the SUVs, it's like off to the back or in the front. Like one of these pieces here is shorter than the other. Something kind of sucks. I ordered new hardware, but I didn't get enough. I made the same mistake when I did the Tahoe. I ordered one kit, so I have enough for one control arm, but I do have this bolt that I didn't have to cut. And depending on how the other side treats me, maybe I'll get lucky, but I don't know, I'm not counting on it. A little anti-seize probably won't hurt. Yeah, that goes like that. Okay. So that's where it's sitting now with the torsion bar screw pretty much completely removed. Yeah, that's not much lower. Well, I blasted through this one in, no joke, 25 minutes. I didn't even have to use that last new camber bolt because I didn't have to cut anything. Everything just came right out. All right, so it's actually the next day. I didn't bother messing with the back suspension yet because I didn't want to, you know, Carolina squat the thing, taking the blocks out of the back, because I'm still waiting for the torsion keys to come in. So I'm gonna run it through just an express car wash right now, get like the salt, because it's still pretty cold out, it's like in the 30s. Just kind of get the salt and all the road crap off of it. And then let's take it to the house. Let's see if we could give this thing a polish, like buff out any scuffs, imperfections, throw some wax on it. I mean, the good thing is I paid for the $3 undercarriage rinse. So hopefully it'll get any salt and crap off from underneath. All right, out of the car wash. Truck's looking pretty good. I just grabbed a bunch of my kind of detail stuff. I think I'm gonna hit it with a single stage paint correction, just some Meguiar's 105. I'm gonna clay bar it, of course, and then I'm just gonna hit it with just a wax to kind of seal it. Now, after washing it, there is a bunch of like tar and just kind of crap stuck to the paint. Back here, there's some scuffs where it looks like those giant ass tires may have rubbed the wheel well at some point. So hopefully that's gonna come off and the paint just isn't missing. Okay, so it's the next morning. I just finished the paint correction on the truck here. However, like most, if not all, GMT 800s, she is not without some rot. Now, first of all, this thing looks incredible. I cannot believe how nice the paint came out, with the exception of like a ding there. And back here, it looks like the bumper was probably replaced, because at one point the old bumper made its way into the back rocker there. Everything else like looks incredible. The paint is shiny. There are virtually like no dings anywhere, even on the hood, with the exception of the rust. Like, there are no dings. The driver's side came out incredible. Even back here, a lot of that kind of scuffing came out. There's still more that will probably come off, but the paint's actually missing here where that white is. So I might try picking at this a little more, maybe using touch-up paint. Same here. There's like a couple little just scratches that can easily be touched up. Now for the rot report. Well, as you guys saw, we got this little bit on the hood, which isn't too big of a deal. I'll try to get a hood at some point and just swap that out. If not, just repair this, because honestly, this hood is so friggin' nice and the rest of it is so damn straight. I might just try to, you know, cut that out and repair it and just respray the hood. Now, thankfully, the rockers are in fact solid. There's no doubt about that. However, bottom of the doors, there's a tiny bit of rust starting here, and I mean a tiny bit. It's not even to the point where, you know, it's getting through to the other side. So I think in the spring, I'm gonna kind of grind this down, maybe pop the panel off, rinse the inside of the panel out, and maybe spray some kind of, maybe, I don't know, Por 15 or like fluid film in there to keep it from spreading and actually going through the door skin. The extended cab door over here is actually really good, the exception of kind of the same thing in the corner. It's not even that big of a deal. Just kind of surface rust starting, hasn't gone through the other side yet, so we'll tackle that in the spring as well. Here's where it gets interesting. I felt these, well, at least I felt the driver's side when I was looking the truck over. I did not feel the passenger side. And as you can see, one of the little plastic pins here is missing, because the whole, yeah, that's the wheel, like the wheel arch where those pins are supposed to clip into. There's a hole right here, and it kind of extends back at the lower wheel arch, like lip area, but it's actually not rotted up except for like right here. And it feels like it's probably right around here. So I think if we pop this off in the spring, I might be able to cut that out, do like a rough patch, throw the wheel arch back on, and I might even get away without having to like paint or like have that work its way into here. So might be able to catch that early. On the driver's side here, this is all solid. All the way through, completely solid. But there is a giant hole right there in the same kind of wheel arch. It's just nowhere near the paint or like the outer skin. So yeah, that's something else I don't really care about. You know, we'll tackle it in the spring, maybe cut it out and just roughly patch it up with some self-tappers or something. And lastly, something I completely missed. The lower door skin on the driver's side extended door. You see that? That is rot. And if we open it, this handle's broken, by the way. I got a new one we're gonna pop on in a minute. Yeah, that's the worst of it as far as like body rot goes. So that definitely, I don't know, I might try to find a door. Finding one without rot is probably like useless though. They probably all have some. If not, they do sell these lower skins. So in the spring, we'll probably cut this out, replace the lower skin. And the nice thing about white is there's no metallic. So it's pretty much the easiest paint to work with. So I don't think matching it up would really be too big of an issue. But I mean, as far as everything else, this truck is like incredibly clean. And I actually really am happy with the trade because she cleaned up so friggin' nice. So I'm still waiting on those torsion keys so I can bring the front end back down and remove the lift blocks from the back. But I got some cosmetic stuff kind of on the way. I got new taillights, new headlights. But in the meantime, I want to replace these bed caps because they're kind of like all warped and they're popping up. They don't stay down anymore. I got some new ones off of eBay we could just pop on real quick. I got the door handle for the extended cab door. And I'm kind of throwing around the idea of pulling some decals off. I don't know. I might leave the Z71 for now. At some point, I might remove the chrome. But I think for now, I definitely want to remove the SLT badges because this one's kind of coming off anyway. And I want to remove the tailgate emblems. Because I actually have a nice black grill emblem. Hopefully it fits that I'm going to pop on the grill. So I'm going to remove the red GMC from the back and the Sierra over here. One piece of the rot report I forgot. The bed here, on the tailgate, starting to rot through a little bit right here. But once again, it hasn't made its way to the outer skin yet. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to address that too in the spring. Well, check it out. That looks a hell of a lot better, huh? Get all that glue off of there. They're nice and stuck down now. Actually hurts my eyes how freaking shiny and bright it is. But I got the hood open because I'm still waiting on the headlights to come in. But I want to take care of just one stupid mechanical thing. So I just threw a purge valve in here off camera. Purge valve, and I crawled into the truck through an evap vent valve. Cleared the code. So now I can kind of drive this thing, get some miles on it. Hopefully that code doesn't come back. Usually it's one of those two things that cause it, if it's not like the gas cap or like the top of the gas tank that's kind of rotted out. Hopefully it was just the vent valve not sealing or the purge valve not sealing. But right now I picked up this thing off of eBay. I'm just going to pop it on real quick. It has a small exhaust leak right from that bolt right there that you can see is missing. That's actually the only bolt that's broken, luckily. So I'm just going to screw this bracket on. It goes right in those two holes and allows you to put a bolt through, and that puts pressure on the manifold and it should seal it up. Also, this thing has an L33. So that's an aluminum block 5.3 with LS6 heads. You can see it has the 243s on it. I think they also have a slightly larger cam than the regular like LM7. It's got flat top pistons, and I think it also has the better Gen 4 rods. And these engines put out about 310 horsepower compared to the 285 to like 290 that the regular LM7 puts out. I mean, if one of the back ones break, you're kind of shit out of luck. Oh, here's our replacement, genuine GM. So it could break again in another 20,000 miles. That's all there's to it. Well, here we go, moment of truth. Hey, look at that. Don't even have to take the door panel off. Beautiful. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back here on Monday with you guys, and I guess maybe we'll have headlights by then. So it's a few days later. In case you couldn't tell, it's a wee bit colder outside from where we left off. But the good news is I do have all the parts needed to finish this thing up now. So let's go ahead and start off with the headlights. I went on eBay, I picked up a set of just cheapy clear lens black housing headlights. Plus these are all, they're kind of like hazed over in yellow on top of, you know, not being the style I want. So for bulbs, I reached out to Lasfit Lighting and they sent me a set for the Sierra here. Last time on the channel, we got a set from them for the Escalade when I did the Xenon Delete. And those LEDs I put in that truck were incredible. I couldn't believe how bright they were compared to the Xenons. They were just as bright, if not brighter. And it was just a factory, you know, pop into the original projector housing and you're good to go. So I think these are gonna do really good. We got some 6000K, just pure whites for the high and low beams. Something you gotta know when you're using aftermarket bulbs, sometimes, usually with aftermarket lights, you don't have an issue. But when you use factory housings, sometimes run into issues where they don't fit. You can see with the aftermarket, can you see? The aftermarket housings leave a lot of space so you could fit a LED bulb in there. The OEM stuff, not so much. So the nice thing, after getting these installed, you'll notice the bulb itself is independent. It can move independently of the locking piece. So that just comes off. It's held in there with some O-rings. So what that means is once you have this in the housing, you can clock the light, and you want to aim it so the LEDs are going to be like that in the housing, so the light just doesn't go up and down and kind of shoot into everybody's eyes. It kind of goes side to side. And then the same with this piece here, how it's open. I like to put the closed piece kind of at the top like that. Well, I'm really happy with the way those look. Pretty much the same thing I had on my Tahoe back in the day when I first got it. But I gotta go run to the park, so I gotta get some bulbs so we can put the turn signals in. Before I do that though, let's just jump to the back. We'll get the taillights in real quick. So this truck already has LED taillights in it, and condition-wise, you know, they're in great shape. I just don't like the complete black look. I like to have some red showing through, and unfortunately I couldn't find any smoked LED lights. The only ones that I could find are these that are LED completely black, or LED just completely clear, or LED with, you know, the clear lens and the black inside. So I just went with pretty much the same light that's on here, just completely red. And I got some film. When it warms up, I'm going to see if I can maybe tint these myself and just give the new ones a tiny bit of a smoke. Not as dark as that. Well, that's not what I wanted to find. I'm guessing whatever's supposed to be in here that tightens the screw against it, the outside layer is just completely rotted away. Well, this is gonna have to do for now. Better than nothing. with this guy. Perfect. All right, so I got the turn signals in, new bulbs. Everything looks incredible. So much better than those dark tinted lights. But I guess that's kind of it for the exterior, at least for now. So let's hop onto this thing. We'll get those torsion keys swapped out and finally get it dropped back down. I just parked this truck. That's the water that was leaking out of the muffler. It's pretty much frozen already. She hasn't been down that low in a long time. I still got to kind of adjust the keys. Probably got to come up a little more, but front's done. Whoa. The wind doesn't help. It's some really scratched up safety glasses. Guess they're better than nothing. So what I'm gonna do now is just hang the these shorter shocks up in here, and then I'll get the blocks out, and then lastly I'll just hook them to the axle. That's a little better. Alright, well, that's both sides done with the bump stops. I also went and hooked the shocks up because now when I unbolt the shackles, or at least loosen them to get these lift blocks out, the axle will still be held up with the shocks then, so that kind of makes the most sense. I don't need a lot of room, just enough so I can slip them out. But before we do that, I'm just going to come in here and cut the U-bolts down because they're way too long. Ow. But yeah, those got to come out because once the block is out, they're going to be even longer than they are now. So I'm just going to cut them down to the nuts. There we go. Slide that out. Yes. All right. There we go. This out and back up as soon as possible. That brake line hose is holding on for dear life. Awesome. Back in with you. Let's get this thing back up. All right, so everything's back together. I had to cut a little bit more off of those U-bolts. I almost ran out of thread too. I thought I was gonna have to buy shorter ones, but luckily I had enough. I was able to tighten everything down. Got a new bump stops in there, new shocks all tightened down. So now I'm just gonna pop the wheels on. We'll see how she sits. Okay, this thing looks incredible. It's exactly like pretty much what I did with my Tahoe when I did the newer style wheels. I'm really digging the way these wheels look on the truck too. The stance is like perfect. I have to drive it around, see where the torsion bars are going to settle, and kind of adjust them from there. Well, there we are. Looks like down here we got some stainage. I bet the third brake light gasket was probably leaking at some point. Let's get this thing inside. Start stripping it down. Well, the first order of business is to get all these accessories removed. Let's get all the grab handles, the dome light, temperature sensor, the little clips that are kind of pushed through that hold the trim pieces on. So I got the actual like sensor off, the little fan that's in there. That's absolutely disgusting, by the way. My God. So if you ever hear a buzzing noise above your head in one of these trucks, a lot of you guys told me this when I got the Escalade. I thought this was like a microphone. It's a little fan. That's the temperature sensor for the automatic climate control. And look how just grungy and disgusting that is. The little temperature sensor is all caked up, so I'll clean that up before it goes back in. Aside from like the outside edges, this shit is still on there. Well, there's the fabric itself. Now I gotta get all of this foam that's left behind. That all has to come off of the fiberglass. All right. Yeah. See you later. Here's my slightly less damaging but still kind of slow solution. Very fine used wire wheel and drill. All right, so I have just about to the minute an hour into this, and the headliner is completely stripped. That's everything we took off of it, and the drill is the way to go. But if you're going to do this, you don't want to use a like a regular steel wire wheel. You want to use one of these brass ones because they're finer. And just, you know, high speed on the drill, very light pressure, just kind of drag it along. And it pulled all that off really easily. Now you can see we have the fiberglass exposed, which is what we want. We don't want that foam off because we're going to glue back to the fiberglass. But there are a few spots that need a little bit of repair. And luckily, I perfectly just planned out making a hole in mine. So now I get to show you how to fix it. Now, because this is all just fiberglass, I'm just going to come in here with a little fiberglass repair kit. Lay a little resin on there. A little piece of fiberglass matting. Get this in here. Build it back up. Lay this guy over it. And you'll just do this for anything, even around the edges. If you have some spots you kind of want to strengthen up, just come in here, hit it with some fiberglass. I don't even think I need any mat for these small spots. Just kind of fill it with resin. Yeah, so this is probably going to take like a day to dry. It's been an hour, it's still like really tacky. So we're going to leave that alone. In the meantime, Boost Auto Parts sent me quite a few goodies. So we're going to do pretty much everything I did on the Tahoe. We got auto fog mod. This is going to turn the fog lights on with the headlights when they automatically come on, you know, with the light sensor on the dash. This is going to make sure the fog lights come on with the headlights, which is cool. We have a wireless charging pad that I also have installed in the Tahoe. The wiring for that. And then they also sent me 2 of the newer 2020 style key fobs. I did a video on one with my Tahoe a few years ago. Just to show you, that's still holding up perfectly fine. The buttons didn't wear away or anything. And I like this key fob just so much better than the factory one. You know, there's nothing wrong with the factory one. It's just a fob. It doesn't really matter. But first of all, this one, it's all kind of worn away anyway. Can't tell what's lock or unlock. And just the buttons, I'm just not a fan of the squishy feel. After using this, like, you can just hear the click. It just works so much better. So the auto fog mod is pretty easy to do. I just went and pulled the trim off underneath the steering column. You'll see right here is our body control module. And we're just gonna unplug our connector on the far left here. and we're going to pretty much just jump to these wires. So A5, which is the gray side, 5 over from the left here. We're looking at that green wire with the white stripe. And then B2 on the blue row is that white wire right there, 2 in from the right. So all we're going to do is clip one of these guys on each one of those wires, connect this in between, and that's going to be it. And this also does, this is directional, so it has to face a certain way. I also have a video on this for my Tahoe as well, so I'll put a link to that at the top of the screen. Key on. You'll notice with the headlights on, now the fog light LED lights up. Turn the headlights off. Fog lights turn off. So when you're driving around now and it gets dark and the headlights automatically come on, your fog lights will just pop on with them. And something to know, you can't turn the fog lights off with this mod. So if that's something that you still want to be able to do, if you do this, you're not going to be able to. And it's just nice now whenever it gets dark and you know the headlights come on, fog lights come on with them. With our nice new white Lasfit bulbs, everything matches and looks real good. So the wireless charging pad's pretty cool. And would you believe I also have one in my Tahoe? But pretty much it just sits right on in here, the absolute perfect place for a wireless charging pad. If wireless charging was a thing, back when these trucks were in their prime, look at that, didn't even drill holes in my tires. Final little touch. It has little kind of legs that snugly fit in those holes where the screws were. And there we go. So to power this up, we're gonna hop in the back of the truck. Some of you guys might have rear controls here, like my Tahoe does. If not, you can have this plate. But pretty much we're gonna wanna pop this out. It's extremely easy. And we're gonna come in here and disconnect the cigarette lighter back here, and then we're pretty much just going to tap into that with the harness that Boost gave us, and it's going to kind of connect in line the charging mat with the factory cigarette lighter. And the gray one here is going to go back into the cigarette lighter, and the black one is going to connect into the existing cigarette lighter connector. Yes! Nice. Alright. Dish this through here. Gonna get rid of the slack. Make sure this closes. Yes, it does. We'll plug our pad in. Beautiful. Yeah, I just want to make sure you have enough slack here so you know the lid could fully open. That's it. Install's done. Lights illuminated. Throw the phone on it. Now I don't exactly remember. I think you just throw your phone on it. Yep. Look at that. So it's always powered, so you don't have to put the key in, just like the factory cigarette lighter. Such a great freaking mod for these trucks. All right, so it's the next day. The fiberglass is finally dry. So I'm just gonna come in here with a little 60 grit, knock this down, and then we'll start gluing the fabric on. Mistakes were made. So I've never actually done a headliner with so many kind of indents in them. The most I've done was the headliner of my Camaro. That's just a straight swoop. So I noticed right away when I laid down the center section, going to press this in, it was feeling a little tight and I was fearing it was going to pull back. And then once everything was said and done, I did notice some spots, particularly like in here, they were starting to pop up. I could kind of stick my hand back here and push it up relatively easily. And I knew right then and there that there was an issue. So I just ripped it all up, and you can see everywhere there where there isn't foam sticking is pretty much where the headliner wasn't sticking. So once you get a hot day in the summer, this was just gonna start coming down again. So I'm gonna go rip through this. I don't know, maybe I didn't clean it enough. after scraping all the old stuff off. Regardless, this got to come off. I got to re-prep the headliner, and then we're going to try this again. This sucks. The whole thing is a mess, a big sticky lumpy mess. I can't get any of the foam off. I need to order more headliner material. I got to get more glue. I think I'm just going to try to source another headliner off a marketplace and just start over. So in the meantime, the seat shop sent me a lower seat cover, a cushion, and a heating pad for the driver's side seat to get the seat heaters fixed and, you know, kind of get the seat restored. Let's work on that instead. I'll deal with this later in the video. So here's our lower seat cover. Got our 2 heating pads and our replacement foam. So this should be relatively simple. We're just gonna slip the back cover off so we could get the new heating pad in there. Kind of half off, get it back down. And then the bottom, we're replacing the entire cushion, so we don't even have to do anything with the bottom. We just take the whole seat off, plop this on, and that's it, we're good to go. Now if you're new here, I got a video on this complete process when I replaced them on my GMT 800 Tahoe. And I also did these on my GMT 900 Escalade. You got these little kind of pegs. You just got to slide the seat forward. It lines up with the holes, and the whole thing pops off. Perfect. Got a couple little push pins. Now we're going to do our best to just kind of roll the seat cover up. Whew. All right, the seat cover's fighting me. I never actually had to pull one of these off without damaging it. And looking at the replacement heating pad here, this is the whole thing. So it's not like it goes all the way up the seat. So I can kind of reach in here. I think I can, at the very least, remove the old one. Yeah. And then let's see if I could kind of get in there, slip the new one up. This actually doesn't look really bad. Usually you'll see a, there'll be like a burn mark in one of the traces here. I don't see anything though. More than likely it's the bottom cover. Those are the ones I usually burn out. Alright, so I got the sticky backing peeled away. Kind of get in here with 2 hands. The bottom lined up. Nice. Now I'm just gonna kind of let that down. Beautiful. And there we go. Make sure that's sitting nice and flat. And it is. Now we can come in here and just reseat the seam or the stitching into that Velcro, those Velcro channels that are in here. Put that back down. Redo the clips, and then we'll recover the bottom. Oh yeah, that's why our seat heater stopped working. Right there. So if you have this issue, I definitely recommend just you know, throw a bottom cover out of the bottom pad and then see what happens. Worst case, the heater still doesn't work, and then you got to buy one anyway, and you could just do what I did, kind of peel the seat cover up and get under there. But surprisingly, the cushion on this thing isn't in the worst shape, but we're going to change it anyway. Frame out of here. See, that just comes off like so. Rochester Hill Plant 12706. New cushion right on there. So same as usual, inside out. I'm gonna throw it on like that. Then we're just gonna kind of peel the edges over it. Lift the cushion up and just peel that around it. You know, keep some, or just spittle over it. Keep some tension on the leather, so it just kind of smooths out as you roll it over. This is always the fun part. Just kind of get these clips flipped over, clipped into the bottom of the seat. We're looking even on both sides. And that's it. Ugh. Slip back in. Wow. I really must be getting good at this, because I struggled like hell doing that the first time. Alright, we're basically down. We're not fully seated, but I think I'm gonna try taking a dead blow mallet. See if that'll help kind of get this seated. Oh yeah, now we're down. So that clip's fully seated, and that is it. Look at that. Nice, new leather seat for the Sierra. Seat's back in, looks incredible. The back definitely needs a cleaning. It almost looks like it's kind of brown. Ugh. But let's pop the key in. The real question is it gonna heat? Ugh. Huh. This truck gotta be running. Yes! We got our heater back. Yeah, so you'll notice when these go out, when you go to press the button, the light might come on for like a split second and immediately turn off. It's usually an indication that your heating pad has gone out. Even if you don't have the money to maybe do the entire seat, just get the pad. You can peel the existing leather back, kind of like what I did back here, and just change the heating pad. You can fix them relatively easily and cheaply. But this looks great. I still got a lot of cleaning to do in here. I have a lead on a replacement headliner, so we'll deal with that a little later. But right now, let's hop to the back because I got something I want to install on the tailgate. So this truck doesn't have a backup camera, and it doesn't really need a backup camera, but a backup camera just makes it so much easier when you're trying to park somewhere tight. Or especially when you're trying to hook a trailer up. We'll just pop this guy out. The new one has some sticky tape on it, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit. we are. All right. All right, so all our connections are made. Got our ground done. Kind of coiled everything up out of the way. I ended up making a hole right here where I passed the wires through, and I just wrapped them in a bunch of friction tape. And then there's our little transition point, and the tailgate won't have a bunch of crap on it, but the tailgate can open and close, and that kind of just coils up nicely, doesn't get pinched, and it seems like it's out of the way. So let's figure out where we're going to run this stupid thing. And that's the last connection. We just got to make that to the radio and pop the taillight in. All right, so the composite's ran. I just got to plug it into the back of the radio. Ended up just zip tying it along the brake light harness all the way up to the grommet for the parking brake cable. Not the parking brake, the shift cable. Then I just cut a little slit in there, ran it through, and then I even made a little hole in the insulation so the wire's running between the carpet and insulation, so it's not gonna, you know, rub against the metal. Let me get that plugged in. We'll see if we have a camera. I'm feeling confident. Let's start this thing up. Everything should work how it's supposed to. Got the trigger wire hooked up, plugged it right into the back of the RC input, I guess rear camera. Hey, look at that. So our backup camera's working. The steering wheel controls, unfortunately, do not work. Yeah, when I pulled the radio out, there's a box back there with the speaker. It looks like it's just like a little black scorch box for the door chime, because the factory radios control the door chime, so you got to get an aftermarket box for that. There's no steering wheel control adapter back there, so I got to get one of them if I want these to work. Another fun fact, underneath the trim here, when I had this off, on the pickups, I don't think the SUVs have this, but please let me know in the comments if they do. There's a name tag of a sticker of the person who I guess assembled the interior or quality checked this piece or whatever. And it looks like this truck's name is going to be Shelby. All right, guys, we're wrapping this thing up. There's pretty much one major thing to finish on the truck, and that is this disgusting mess of a headliner. However, a couple other things I want to do. I found a nice steering wheel I pulled from a car in a junkyard, or I think it was a Tahoe or Suburban in a junkyard a few years ago. Factory leather wheel, nice switches. I'm going to pop that in. But I also went on Marketplace, and I managed to find a replacement headliner for 40 bucks for an extended cab. And this, I just need the backer board off of it. So I'm going to peel this down. I got to retake the foam off, but it's not all bumpy and messed up like the one in the truck that I screwed up. So that was cheap. I got the replacement material. But on top of that, I scored a basically rust-free driver rear door for $75, same color as the truck as well. least that L33 power. This thing feels incredible. All the suspension kind of weirdness, the clunking, the sketchiness in the steering, it's all gone. Shout out to All Tire on Staten Island. I got the alignment done. They got me in and out within an hour, and I got the inspection done. So the vent valve and the purge valve that I put in it, whichever one wasn't sealing, causing the small evap leak, that's fixed. Got inspection. She's fully legal. Alignment feels great. Suspension feels great. The whole truck just feels incredible. Now, there are a couple little things that still need to be repaired. For one thing, the power steering pump just keeps whining. Fluid's good. I actually put a line on it too because it was rusted and kind of leaking a little bit, and topped it off. It's still whining. So I have a pump I'm going to throw on at some point. The service four-wheel drive light, or the message on the dash, it just randomly keeps coming on. First time it came on was yesterday. I cleaned the grounds and stuff on the frame rail under the driver's side door, and it went away. I thought it was good, but now it just came back. So I don't know if maybe something's still dirty under there, or if it's something else that's going on. The weird thing is the 4x4 works. I could pop it in four-wheel drive, like it doesn't lock me out or flash or do anything weird. So I'm not sure what the hell that's about. And lastly, that exhaust leak. Woo-hoo-hoo! Be careful, I'm gonna be putting a 4L60. No, I'm not saying anything. I jinxed myself way too easily to say anything. But that exhaust leak, I can still hear it. So that bracket, it didn't do anything that I bolted to the manifold. The gas is probably just blown out. In the spring, I'm gonna have to take care of that. Strong, man. Brakes feel great. There is some tire noise. Those tires that I swapped for, there's some like no-name weird, like off Chinese brand. They make noise. Not too much, but they're not quiet whatsoever. So I think at some point when we start modding this thing some more, she's gonna be getting tires anyway, so it's like whatever. The fact that I was able to just trade those wheels and get something real nice that I got on the truck right now and not have to pay anything for them, it's just like icing on the cake. But let's pull over here, give you guys a little walk around, and then I'm gonna give you a breakdown on what this cost and what I actually had in the Escalade and how I kind of made out on this. Woo, this thing sure does look good. Came a long way from where we started. It just looks like a nice, clean, just kind of daily drivable truck, you know? Now, hopping inside, there were a couple of things I did want to mention. So the headliner, I'm not crazy about the color. This was supposed to be like a charcoal gray, but it almost looks like, compared to the rest of the interior, like a light blue. So at some point, when we do some more stuff in the interior, as far as like upgrades go, I think I'm gonna pull that down, possibly just dye it black. I don't know. I mean, the good thing is it's not sagging anymore, and it looks like the glue and everything took the way it was supposed to. One thing I had to do, being the headliner that I got from the parts truck on Facebook, it didn't have auto climate controls, so I had to relocate the sensor from here. I just drilled a hole and stuck it in the middle, because on the headliner that was in this truck, the headliner was actually molded down so it would clear the sensor. So there's a bunch of dead space in there for the long console some of these trucks have. So I was able to stick it right there, and it actually worked out really well. I also do have some dye on the way. So once again, at some point when we address the interior, I want to dye all the beige stuff gray and see if I can get different sun visors. If not, just dye those gray as well. It's sort of a last minute kind of final touch, just because I really wanted to clean this thing up. I got this $200 just tonneau cover off of Amazon. It seems like it's pretty good. Tail lights look great. I decided not to tint them. Just gonna leave them red for now. These wheels too, they look absolutely perfect on this truck. Like, they weren't even a wheel I was looking for. I was just trying to get whatever, like, cheap stock wheel that I could get just so I could drop the suspension back down. But the fact that they were 5 spokes and they actually look really good on this truck is like a plus. So now I don't really have a desire to get wheels as I thought I was going to. I thought I was just going to get some kind of junky looking things temporarily so I could lower the suspension, but these actually look great. And just kind of finishing them off with those GMC center caps, just like the little details like that, replacing, you know, the kind of peeling up gross bedside pieces. It's just all those little things kind of come together and really clean a truck up. All right, so what do I have in this truck that I traded my nice fancy Escalade for? I don't regret it because I like this truck, and it's actually exactly what I wanted. Once I knew I wanted a truck, I kind of did my research. I knew I wanted a Sierra. I knew I wanted a GMT 800 Sierra. Didn't want a 900. And the fact that this is an 07, it's like the last year you could have got this body style in this truck. So it was perfect. It was like the newest one I could have gotten anyway. Now, I would have settled for a 2-wheel drive because I got my Tahoe. Dad's got 4-wheel drive. I don't really need this to have it. I also did want an extended cab. I wanted, you know, an 03 or up with the steering wheel controls, the leather, the heated seats. It checked all the boxes, and I'm very happy I traded for it. Now, what did that end up costing me in the end? Because this truck needed significant work. Like, it looked nice, but once I started driving it, I realized it's not that nice after all. First of all, the truck cost me nothing. Just traded with subscriber Alex, and he took my keys, I took his. We signed the titles over. That was it. In this video, I replaced the evap valve, the evap purge valve, the vent valve, which fixed my check engine light, exhaust leak bracket, which didn't even fix the exhaust leak, whatever, shocks all around, front control arms, upper control arms, control arm hardware, rear bump stop, torsion keys, because this had lift keys in it. I had to take those out, buy stock ones, the rear door handle, headliner material, I had to buy twice because they messed it up the first time, the headliner glue, the headliner board I had to replace, the alignment, and the title fee. All in. Well, before I tell you that, there was also stuff I had to do off camera because there was just like transmission line, stupid stuff that's just annoying to do on your back and in the cold. I just took care of it off camera. Transmission cooler lines were leaking like a sieve after a few days. They were all rotted out, had to change them. I put a power steering pressure hose on it because that was pretty rotted out. Power steering pump, I actually have it. I just got to pop it in for that annoying whine. I did put inner and outer tie rods on it. It didn't need them, but I figured I'm getting alignment done. Why not just change them? It's got 200K on it. I also had to put in a blower motor because it was squeaking and squealing really badly, and I put in a blower motor resistor because it had no low-speed blower. Lastly, even though this thing has new brakes all around from the previous owner, new wheel cylinders, drums, rotors, front calipers, everything, the new front right caliper is leaking from one of the piston seals, so I replaced that with one from Rock Auto. And all in all, the repairs cost me $1,336.62, which, considering I didn't have to pay anything for the truck, I didn't have to pay anything for title fees, not title fees, like tax or anything at the DMV, I think that's really good. And then I just transferred my plates from the Escalade, so I didn't have to pay the $200 for registration for plates. Now, for upgrades, everything we kind of did in the interior and the exterior. First of all, shout out to Boost Auto Parts. Long-time kind of sponsor of the channel. They were providing me with 2 key fobs, the auto fog mod, and the nice wireless charging pad. The seat shop, once again, came in just as they always did and provided me with some nice seat covers for this truck. Got the driver's side all fixed up, nice fresh leather down there, the nice new seat cushion, and the seat heaters replaced. Both heated seats work now. And last but not least, Lasfit Lighting, once again providing me with LED bulbs for one of my trucks. Got the LED nice white high beams, nice low beams, and I'm gonna put a link to the other video I did with them when I put those lights in my Tahoe. That'll be down in the description. But thanks to all you guys for providing everything. Really helped out with this build, and I got some really nice upgrades out of it. Now, the upgrades that I paid for myself, so we did the headlight housings, the taillight housings, the third brake light, the black GMC badge, the GMC center caps, the backup camera, the rust-free back door. I'm calling that an upgrade because I had no plans of putting a back door on this. The paint was nice. I was leaving it until I got a chance to fix it. So that's an upgrade. Cost me 75 bucks. Money well spent. And the bed cover and then the plastic bed rail trim. All in on upgrades, I'm at $440.57, which puts our total at $1,837 Basically $1,800, and I have a really nice kind of daily drivable truck that's incredibly clean. I'm still so impressed with how nice the interior smells and how clean the carpets and the leather and everything is. Also, the rockers seem to actually have been replaced, which is actually a plus, because that means they shouldn't be rotting out nearly as quickly as you might think, because eventually rot comes for the rockers on these trucks, whether or not they're clean now or not. But I did see a little overspray on some of the wiring harness by the frame, some white paint, so they probably were replaced at some point. Now, for other free repairs and upgrades, I had the steering wheel that I paid $15 for. It's been sitting in storage. I swapped that out. It's not all worn away and gross like the one that was in here. The wheels cost me nothing. That was incredible. Just traded them for the 5 spokes I got on the truck now. And this thing was tinted all around, windshield, everything. I removed that tint myself off camera, so I saved some money there. And I just left it on the back because, you know, it's fine back there, and they don't check that during safety inspection anyway. Yes, New York, they'll ream you out if you have tints on your windows, especially the windshield. I never had good luck with having any kind of window tint, and if I drove this thing with windshield tint, as soon as I pull out my driveway, I'd be pulled over, without a doubt. But with all that being said, what did I have in the Escalade? Now, grand total, $6,583. That's with buying the truck for $2,000. The title, the tax, the shipping, and the auction fees, I was in about $3,500, and then everything I did, the shocks, sending the heads out, all the parts, the air pump in the back, all that stuff you saw me do, with the exception of the seat covers, because once again, the seat shop came in and provided them for me. I'm in it for $6,583. Now, that Escalade was not perfect. It still had issues. You guys remember I had some rust on the tailgate that still needed to be fixed. The AC stopped working, so it was going to need an AC condenser. It had a bit of an oil leak still coming from the back of the oil pan. That is either the rear main or the oil pan. I'm not really sure. I didn't really care to find out. And the biggest thing was it was still stalling out when winter came around. So you start the truck up in the morning, you drive away, come to a stop, it would buck and stall. The torque converter was still just kind of sticking, and the lockup wasn't releasing when the truck was cold. I even pulled the valve party apart and put a zip kit in it. Did the same thing. Now, I completely disclosed that to Alex, the subscriber I traded with, and he's fully aware at some point he might have to do a torque converter or a transmission. Regardless, I had no desire to do it. I didn't want to, and I just wanted a truck and to get it out of my hair. So maybe I could have made a little extra money if I held onto it and sold it and fixed the transmission, but I wasn't about to just drive, you know, to meet somebody with the truck warm and be like, see, everything's great, and then just screw them over when they go to start the truck the next day and it acts crazy and stalls out. So I was happy with just kind of trading it, letting him know what's going on with it. Now I actually have something that I want to work with. Not to mention, I also did make some money off those videos, so I kind of got paid for my labor. But with that being said, I'm very happy with where this truck is right now. As you guys saw, we did some mods to it. More are going to continue. And I did pull those torsion keys out. So we're not doing a jacked up build with this. It's only going to get lower from here.